Let's just talk about 5 things that might help you to become a better music producer, to focus.
Is it you or is it me? I don't know, I just keep letting us go.
Hey guys, I'm today so extremely late to my studio. There are just 2 reasons for that. One of them is that I went to bed extremely late because I was taking care of Vanessa. She went to bed at midnight and then I started working and kind of catching everything up that I missed. And the second thing was that I had an appointment with it's like an artist consultant. That's the person that helps me with everything that is related to me as an artist that has to do with taxes and insurances. So he helps me to save money and to plan strategies and all these kind of things. So I spent there 4 hours, and this guy is getting paid by the minute. And he gets quite a lot per minute, but it's still worth it. I always save way more than this guy cost me. And then I also had a meeting with my lawyer for just an hour. This guy gets paid by the hour and way more even. But he's helping me with a couple of things for new projects. I want 2017 to be a good year with a lot of new things happening. And for these things I need some legal advice before starting them. But more on that in a couple of weeks, hopefully. I'm just checking all of the information of my new release. There is a website called Soundcharts and you have to apply for it, but you can usually get access to it for at least 2 weeks to try it. And it shows you where your track has been played, in which Spotify playlist it is, and a whole lot more of other things. I'm using it already since the beta. It's still under development, but it's just amazing. I can track down which of my tracks got played in which country on the radio, in which playlist it is, and how the tracks are evolving, all of the stats, everything. Everything is looking good, which really cheers me up, because sitting half of the day at a lawyer and at a artist consultant isn't the most exciting thing in the world. It's always interesting. I learn a whole lot and some small little tricks. But making music is just what I really love. By the way, Vanessa's feeling a lot better, and I also kind of screwed up with this chill soundtrack that I was working on 2 days ago, where I did the entire mixing and it was just all about getting the fine details right. I started working at home with headphones on it, and I don't know why, but at least for me, every time I'm working with headphones, I'm just screwing up the mix. I just thought to improve a little here and there, and it just now sounds really bad and I have to do it all over again, so I won't bother you with getting the mixing again done on this track. Instead, let's just talk about things that always help me and might also help you to become a better music producer, to be focused and just taking the next step. The first one is trying to make a good song and not a good sounding song. It's all about hitting that right feeling. That's also sometimes something I forget. I'm very detailed about the production side, about getting a clean sound and having all of the mixing done right. But it's usually more about the feeling of the track. Most music listeners are not professional engineers. They won't hear if the sidechaining is a bit off, if the compression isn't right, but they have a general feel for a track, and that's what you should try and master. That's what you should aim for. That's actually what counts at the end. The second point would be actually to listen a whole lot, and with that I mean listen to other people's track. That's the best way to learn. The second thing would be to listen, of course, to your own tracks. Every day I'm bouncing out a track that I'm working on, and I listen to it on headphones on my way back home or at home. I take notes, just what I could change, ideas that I have, changes in the arrangement, changes in the mixing. This way, the next day I have like a to-do list, what to do with the track. I can sit here in the studio, just do these things and listen again to it, and then decide what's best for the song. Also very important, listen to whatever you're doing with the song. So I know a lot of people, they just stop the loop of the track that they're listening to do EQ settings. You should never do that. Always keep the track playing and do the adjustments to whatever track you're doing, while listening to it. If you EQ, compress something, put reverb on top of it, just let it play. That's the only way to know how it will sound and to find the right setting for it. If you stop it, set it, and then play again, and then stop again, it will take you a lot more time and you will never find the right spot. Try to not think that much about the technicalities, which plugin to get, which DAW to use, which DAW will have the best sound, which EQ sounds the best. These things are extremely detailed and almost to a point so detailed that they're pointless. Just think about which tool will help me to achieve whatever I have in my head, which tool will help me to get the right sound for this singer or songwriter, or the right bass line that just works in the club, the right kick. That's what you should focus on, and not like having 20 EQs, because at the end you usually just use 1 or 2. And see your plugins as tools. You won't need the same tool 10 times. Just try to have from every tool at least one to be able to just be versatile and do whatever you want. We will continue with the other 2 points, 4 and 5. I just need to get back to mixing the track. I hope I will be able to finish it within the next 3 or 4 hours. The day I mixed it, it actually took the entire day, but now that I already did it, it might be faster than the first time. I should really just stop mixing with headphones at home. I always ruin the tracks, and I don't know if you have the same, but it's with me every time I'm doing the mixing with headphones, it's just bad. I know a couple of people that just get away with it, that can mix on headphones and have a nice mix that translates. But for me, it's just not working. It might be the headphones or just me. I don't know. Finally all done with the mixing for the second time. It sounds a tiny bit better, but to be honest, it's not really worth it to spend another day to get kind of to the almost same result. Which basically already gets us to the next point, and that is trying to be efficient in the studio, being efficient working on tracks. It's actually not that the longer you spend on a track, the better it will get. Sometimes this might be the case, especially if you're a beginner, but if you know how to mix a track, if you already finished tracks and released tracks, it's not about spending a lot of time on it. It's more about being efficient and doing the things that are necessary to finish the track and make it good. If you come to a point where you start just changing the track instead of improving it, it usually means that you're either finished with the track or that it just isn't a good track, and you might consider just moving on and starting a new project. The last point is by far the hardest. That's actually to finish a track, to keep on forcing you to get to the finish line, to make something that is worth releasing. Because every time you start a track and don't release it or don't finish it, it's basically a waste of time. I know, of course, at the beginning you have to learn everything, but if you have your first release and then every track that follows it is actually a waste of time. I have like hundreds of tracks on my hard drive that never got released, and it's basically all time that is now gone. I of course learned something, but finishing it is important. Only a finished track can be released. Only a finished track will help you to succeed. Only a finished track will at the end make you money, and that's something you should consider the next time you just stop working on a project. Because sometimes it's just like the last 5% that you have to push to finish it, and sometimes you just have to tell yourself it's finished even if you don't think it's finished, or just let someone else decide that is also a music producer or is listening to a whole lot of music if he thinks that the track sounds finished. Because sometimes as a producer you really lose the focus and the overview over your project. Yeah? Vanessa's calling. She feels a lot better. It's now past 8. She was just wondering where I am, and I told her I had to mix the track all over again. By the way, I just checked all of your comments from yesterday's video, and a lot of you were asking how much I would actually charge for the mixing and mastering. I honestly don't really know, and I don't like to negotiate. That's really something I don't like to do. So I thought about just putting down below an email address. You can write me, you can send me a track that you want to get mixed or mastered, and then just let me know what you would like to pay for it. Just be fair, pick something that you can afford, and I'm pretty sure we will find a solution for it that we're all happy with. I will of course try not to mix a whole lot of tracks, because my main thing is still being here in the studio and making my own music. But of course it would be nice to help you out and you also help me out, so why not? And for these things I need some legal advice before starting them. But more on that in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Maybe months, who knows, but hopefully just weeks.